What is up, guys? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're covering some more r/am I the butthole. If you're new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe and maybe that notification bell too, as it all really does help out our channel. And don't forget, we're on podcast 2 now, so you can take me with you wherever you go. And if you want to be super awesome, you can also support the channel on both YouTube by clicking the join button below, or joining us on Patreon, where we have different tiers of membership and things like that. So we're releasing like membership videos now as well. And a huge thank you to each and every member out there. I absolutely love you from the bottom of my heart. You keep me going every day, so thank you so much. And with that being said, let's get on with today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for calling my sister out for editing photos of my daughter? So my 33 female daughter is 16 and my sister is 23. My sister is obsessed with her Instagram, like she posts 3 to 4 times a day. She's got an appearance and standards. My daughter has struggled with her weight for a while. She's 1.8 meters tall and 13 stone. Our goal is to get her down to 11 stone. My sister took a picture of her and my daughter and posted it on Instagram. My daughter was really excited, but when she checked it, she got really upset. She hasn't left her room yet. My sister had heavily edited the picture, so my daughter looked skinny. I was extremely angry and phoned my sister to tell her to take it down / post the unedited photo. She refused, telling me she just wanted to show the world what a beautiful girl my daughter was and that she promotes health. My daughter is trying to lose weight, it isn't her fault, and she's a beautiful growing girl. My sister has crushed her, so I commented, I'm ashamed, my daughter is beautiful without the heavy editing going on in this photo. Be ashamed, sister, for body shaming a teenager. Take this down immediately and apologise. My sister didn't see it in time and got a bunch of negative comments. She took it down but phoned me in tears saying that I hurt her and that she's sorry but she didn't mean it, etc. My husband thinks I went overkill. Am I the arsehole? Now let's go into the comments on this one. Something comes here says, nope, absolutely not the arsehole. Your sister is 23. We have all done shitty things at that age, but she is an adult. Her shitty actions hurt a child, your child, and all for the sake of her Instagram. You'd be a bad mum if you hadn't done something fast. Evolution Cocktail replies, OP's sister's mission doesn't even make sense. She wants to promote health by photoshopping. Photoshopping is probably the least healthy thing you can do for your body and self-esteem. The Lady Musketeer says, while not the arsehole, I am side-eyeing your weight goals for your kid. She is 16. At her height and 13 stone, she is in the overweight category by 3 pounds. Her weight will fluctuate by twice that during her period, for goodness sake. Dropping her weight to 11 stone puts her quite far towards the bottom of what is considered a healthy weight for her height. Honestly, rather than having a weight goal, it would likely be better for your daughter from a mental health point of view to have health goals, things like running a 5k or lifting a certain weight, especially at the age of 16 when her body is still growing. I'd go to have a chat with a dietitian if you're concerned, but at her age, focusing so exclusively on the number on the scale is not setting her up for a good relationship with her weight and for the rest of her life. Status Carpenter replies to that, want to upvote this 1,000 times, searched for far too long for a comment like this. Sister is the arsehole, but so is OP. Why is OP obsessed with a number on the scale, especially a goal weight on the lower range of normal? OP, stop weighing your daughter. Stop having a ridiculous goal weight that is related to your rigid beauty ideals and not health. Stop focusing on her weight struggles when she's barely over BMI 25 and she's 16. And now I turn the question to you guys. What do you think of this story? Let me know in the comments below and don't forget to vote on the poll in the description for story 1. Our next story is from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for not giving my daughter a letter my deceased husband wrote for her before he died? In January of 2019, my husband was diagnosed with a brain tumour. It was in a completely inoperable part of the brain and was told me he had 6 months to live. He stuck it out and died in October, 3 months longer than he was expected to. He was always positive and decided a few weeks after his diagnosis that he would write letters for our daughters for significant events in their lives. My husband was my soulmate and the past few months have been difficult knowing I've lost him. We have 2 daughters, Mia who is 21 and Imogen, Imi, who is 19. All 3 of us have become a lot closer since their dad's death and we've all really struggled. My husband and I were together since we were children, got married when we were 18 and we were approaching our 20th wedding anniversary when he passed. In February this year, Mia got married to a boy she's been with for about 6 years. I absolutely love her husband, and he's been incredibly supportive during all of our grief. My husband wrote a letter for Mia to open on her wedding day. It's worth noting that my daughters were unaware of these letters. It was my job to give them to our daughters. Her wedding day comes around, and I just can't bring myself to give her the letter. I read it, and I just want to keep it to myself. I had his handwriting and his words, and it felt like he was there, and I couldn't bear the thought of giving that up yet. I was fully intending on giving her all the other letters as the events happened. Last week, Mia and her husband bought their first home together. They'd been living at our home since they got married, so I had a lot of stuff to pack and move into their new house. Mia asked me where her important documents were, passport, birth certificate, etc. So I told her they were in my top drawer of my dresser in my bedroom. The only letter that was in there was the one that I was meant to give her on her wedding day. The rest were hidden away. She immediately recognised his handwriting, and of course it was addressed to her, so she read it and broke down. She came and found me and started screaming at me how I could be so selfish. I didn't know what to say apart from the fact that I wanted to keep it and she could take a picture of it. Both my daughters called me an arsehole, and I convinced them keeping them from a load of their dad's stuff. Am I the arsehole? Edit. Have your opinions, that's why I posted this, but do not come into my PMs and tell me I should have been the one to die instead. You're worse than I am if that's what gets you off. Sending me death threats isn't okay either. And absolutely, that is not okay. Never PM someone look death threats. It's absolutely disgusting. And I'm sure no one here is going to do that anyway. But let's go to the comments below and see what we can find. Science Not Kid says, "You're the arsehole and she's right. You are selfish and a thief. That wasn't yours to keep. My dad died when I was 17. Do you have any idea how hard it is to marry a man my dad never got to meet? To walk down the aisle without him? My wedding day was supposed to be one of my best memories, and instead it was just so hard. A letter would have meant the world to me. What you did was rotten, and the fact that you still haven't realised that speaks volumes. This wasn't only your loss. Do you not realise that?" Sid says, "I think it's so selfish. I would kill to have something like that from my dad." Jet Annie says, "You and me both. My bio dad died when I was a freshman in high school. He never got to see me graduate from high school. I still miss him so much. I cannot believe the selfishness of this woman. Who does that to their own kids? It makes me so angry." Miss Kelly says, "100% you're the arsehole. You may be his wife, but he's her father. What an utterly selfish act you have done. His dying wish failed in your hands. You disrespected his memory. How could you?" Edit. Those of you who are messaging OP directly with pure nastiness, just stop. Yes, what she did was absolutely disgusting, but so is telling her that she should be the dead one. At the end of the day, she made a massive mistake based on heightened emotions of losing someone she desperately loved. If I lost mine, I would 100% be in a horrific state. She knows how wrong she was and probably will never forgive herself. OP, I wish you nothing but healing time for you and your daughter. It may take a long time, but please don't give up and try to make amends if possible. Sean Chai Girl says, "I'm in disbelief about this right here. How fucking dare OP take away a dead husband's only opportunity to be there for his daughter on her wedding day? She has absolutely no right to that letter or any of the others. Her husband made a beautiful gesture for his daughters in his last months and OP shit all over it because of her own selfishness. You're the arsehole, OP. What do you think your husband would say? He trusted you with his final words to his children and you betrayed that trust. How could you possibly think you aren't the arsehole?" Miss Dean 1911 says, "She had no right to even read the letter. What OP did was selfish, cruel and massively controlling. She had no right to read the letter or withhold it. It speaks volumes about OP, that even after her daughter found the letter, that she still thinks she's entitled to keep something that doesn't belong to her, that she gets to keep the letter and daughter only gets a picture of it. She's acting like she's the only one who's entitled to be loved and grieve for her husband. She is the worst kind of mother." Now don't get me wrong, what OP did in this situation is absolutely horrific. To hold something from a wedding day and not give it to her when that was requested by the husband in the first place, I think it's absolutely disgusting. But at the same time, and I will get shot down for this, I'm well aware of that, grief does crazy, crazy things to people. That letter, that writing brought him back to her. And I know it's not fair she kept it from the daughters because they deserve that too. But that little piece of paper with writing that he wrote on that paper just gave him back to her for those moments, and she didn't want to let that go. And that's what grief can do. It's obvious that grief will have a huge mental impact on someone. So I can kind of see why OP did that. I'm not excusing it, don't get me wrong, but I kind of saw the comments as some of them a bit harsh. Obviously she's got a lot of rebuilding to do in her family now, and I hope she does that because I think they sounded like a good family unit before all this happened, so I don't know. But don't attack me though, and please do not attack OP. But let me know what you guys think below in the comments, and don't forget to vote on the description for story 2. Our next story is from Baked Goods. Am I the arsehole having a pot of cookies out in the open in my own home? This is an ongoing situation, and I'm currently writing this as my niece is having a full-on meltdown, so I apologise for any mistakes. Today was my day off, and I decided to which up a batch of pot cookies that have weed extract in them, so I can snack on them for the weekend. After they finished baking, I left them out on a cooling tray so they can set. I just finished cleaning up the kitchen, and I hear the doorbell, and went to answer. And surprise surprise, it's my sister with 8-year-old niece and husband. It's been a while since I've last seen them, so it was a happy surprise. I let them in, and the smell of cookies is still in the air, and niece goes bolting towards the kitchen. I instantly go chasing her, and as I round the corner into the kitchen, niece has just grabbed the cookie and was about to eat it. Quick on my feet, I swooped in and grabbed the cookie out of her hand, saying that these were adult cookies, which caused niece to start freaking out. My sister followed in, and I explained to her that these cookies had pot in them, and assured her I was able to take the cookie away from niece before she had ate any. She instantly blows up at me saying I shouldn't have pot cookies out when there are kids in the house. I explained how I just finished baking them and they were just setting, and the fact that I didn't expect any children to be around. I'm a single man, no kids. She asked if I had anything that wasn't laced, and unfortunately I didn't. By this point, the niece has locked herself in the bathroom and is crying. And my sister gave me the big old lecture, having drugs in reach of kids, while I stand on the premise of there wouldn't be an issue if I had known they were planning on dropping by today. She called me a huge irresponsible arsehole, and I responded, well, maybe if you taught your daughter to just not grab shit, we wouldn't be in this mess. She left to try and get niece out of the bathroom, and I'm sat here typing this. Am I really the arsehole here? Like, I can understand not having drugs out in the open with kids around, and I never would, if I had known there was going to be kids around. Also, before I get any flack, I'm in Canada, and weed's legal here. Sapien Slut, oh, god damn these names, man, says, not the arsehole. It's polite to give people a heads up before you drop by. By 8 years old, you should know not to take things without asking. Locking herself in a bathroom over not getting a cookie is ridiculous behaviour for an 8-year-old. Kitchen Witch 119 replies, as a parent, agreed. 2 to 4 year olds may be, they're still learning boundaries, self-control, expressing their emotions, etc. 8-year-olds is well past those developmental stages. Wonder Woman says, exactly, and the fact that sister is defending niece is concerning. If I were that mother, I would be upset that she simply grabbed something without asking. Both mum and sister seem entitled. Kitchen Witch 119 replies, very entitled. That mum isn't doing her child or herself any favours either. The days go slow, but the years fly as a parent. Respect, kindness, responsibility, empathy, all the positive traits we want our kids to have. These are things we need to teach, and more importantly, to display ourselves. Our kids emulate what we do, not what we say. The next comment from Disco Afro Man. There's a reason kids and people act the way they do. They were taught by their parents / whoever raised them. This niece acts like this because of the mother. I bet their dad had no issues since he wasn't mentioned at all. And I think most of the comments summed it up there pretty well, that your kid's gone into someone's house and ran into the kitchen and basically taken something that wasn't theirs. They need to learn some respect right there and then. So yes, I think that OP is not the asshole in this situation. But what about you guys? What do you think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on story 3 on the link in the description. The next story is from The Lackadaisical. Am I the arsehole for rubbing my belly? I'm 28 female, 6 months pregnant, and the first in my family to be pregnant. My family has reacted weirdly towards my pregnancy so far, but this is a whole new level. I'm wondering if I'm the arsehole or not. Being this far along, I'm constantly feeling the baby moving inside me. She presses on my bladder and makes a ruckus in there. I felt that gently rubbing my belly up and down over my clothes calms her down and keeps her from jabbing my insides with her feet. Due to the virus, I haven't been able to see my parents until last weekend. So far, it's just been me and my fiance celebrating the pregnancy, so I was excited to show them pictures of my ultrasound and catch up. My sisters, 30 female and 28 female, came over to visit while I was at my parents' house. We're sitting around and chatting when I felt the baby starting to act up, so I absent-mindedly began to rub my belly. My sisters both gave me a look, like I was doing something disgusting. They asked me why I was rubbing my belly and told me to stop after I explained. They said it made them uncomfortable. I obliged and stopped, thinking they were just being weird. An hour later I was grilling with my fiance and was rubbing my belly again. My older sister saw and snapped at me. She told me to stop. It was weird and I looked like Buddha rubbing his gut. It was offensive, but I stopped to keep the peace. I just wanted to have a good time. Later we went out for ice cream. Before I got in the car, my twin sister, who is also pregnant but not showing yet, stopped me and made me promise not to rub my belly in the car. She said loudly, to make my older sister laugh I guess, "No belly rubbing Buddhas in my car." I said, okay, I just wanted ice cream. While standing in line for ice cream, I began absent-mindedly rubbing my belly again. My sister saw, snapped and shouted, "OP, stop, that's so weird." Everyone at the ice cream joint turned and stared at me. It was so embarrassing. Before leaving for home, I asked my mum what my sister's problem with me were. My mum said it was the belly rubbing and it was weird. My fiance had my back and explained that it calms the movements and it's completely normal for me to do that. My mum said that I was being overreactive and to imagine how hard it must have been for her when she was pregnant with twins. This still didn't answer my question, but my mum told me to be normal around my sisters and to not be so sensitive. I feel weird because I thought I wasn't doing anything wrong. So Reddit, am I being the big bellied arsehole? Edit 2, I'm humbled by the power of Reddit. Thank you all so much for the reassurance and advice. I realised how my actions were normal, but my family has some issues they need to work through on their own. I'm not going to waste my time trying to figure out their problems. I'm going to keep on rubbing my belly and enjoying myself. Maybe I'll update later after the baby arrives. Thank you again. Love, Big Buddha Belly. Now, before I even look at the comments, I'm going to say, that is totally normal, right? There's nothing wrong with rubbing your belly. Fucking hell. Even if you wanted to rub your belly in a normal circumstance, you go ahead and rub your belly. It's your goddamn belly. But this is a total normal thing for pregnant women to do. I see it all the time. Any pregnant person I've ever seen, honestly, I've seen them rub their belly or have their hand on their belly. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? There's a baby in there and you want to feel its feet and stuff. Who wouldn't do that? What the fuck? But let's go and have a look at the comments. We know where they're going, but let's have a look anyway, shall we? Rogue's Gambit says, not the arsehole, I'm really confused. What you did was normal. OP said, that's what I thought too. I have no idea what their problem is, especially since my twin sister is pregnant too. It's so weird. And when her sister starts rubbing her belly, she needs to call her out on it. DuckMuckQuackatron says, it's perfectly normal. It's part of the bonding process and a way for you to protect her. It also relaxes you and baby and helps alleviate discomfort from stretching and carrying an actual human being inside of you. Your family is wrong in so many ways. Rub that beautiful belly, mama. Rub it whenever and wherever you are and tell anyone who has a problem to it to back the fuck off. Too true, Duck. PanLiveUp says, I hope I got your name right there. Also, the skin is stretching and it itches. I mean, how can they even walk down the street or do grocery shopping if they're sensitive to such a thing? What if they hear a fork scratching a plate? What if they saw a dog eating another dog's poop? There'll be that old guy showing his furry beer belly. Whatever. There'll be this guy with a piece of boiled egg in his beard loudly chewing his sandwich on the morning bus. A woman with disgusting village manicure sitting next to them in McDonald's, but their sis rubbing her belly is an issue. Anyway guys, I now turn the question to you guys. What do you think of this story? And don't forget to vote for story 4 in the link in the description. And our final story is from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for ruining my sister's wedding? My sister is getting married in September, assuming all the COVID stuff is over, and she made me one of her bridesmaids. I was very excited. I've never been in a wedding, so this is a new experience. I'm also super happy for my sister. Her fiance is the perfect man for her, and I'm so happy they're happy. She went bridesmaid shopping. She picked out these super pretty ones, kind of pinkish red and ruffles at the top. So we get the dresses and I try mine on. I loved it. It wasn't too hot and it was just the right height so I can get away with wearing flats. Me and the other bridesmaids, one of our cousins and my sister's future sister-in-law / best friend, try them on and walk out to show my sister. My sister looks at me and her face just freezes. I asked her if she didn't like it, but she just didn't respond. She asked if she could talk to me in the other room and I say sure. We walk in the bathroom and she just kind of looks at me and sighs. Then goes, OP, your boobs look huge. Which kind of stunned me for a moment. I kind of laughed it off because I have big breasts. I wear a 34 triple D, so I don't know what she was expecting. I asked what do you want me to do about it, and she sighs again. OP, you can't wear that to my wedding. I say, okay, so we can return these dresses and pick out some other ones if you don't like these. She kind of shakes her head and goes, no, that's not what I meant. I'm confused by now. She goes, I like the dress, just not you in it. By then, I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? And this bitch goes, I don't want any attention straight away from me and my fiance. I'm sorry, but you can't be my bridesmaid. I'm angry now. So the problem is that I look great in the dress, and she just kind of sheepishly nods. I storm out of the bathroom and head to the room where I changed and got back into my regular clothes. I walk out and my sister's bridesmaids are asking me what happened, and I just throw the dress at my sister and tell the bridesmaids that my sister thinks I look too good in my dress and she's worried that I take the attention away from her. I walk out and go and sit on the curb to wait for my stepmom to pick me up. I can't drive, I'm 14. My stepmom picks me up and I go home to cry because I was really looking forward to being by my sister's side while she gets married, and I'm also very hurt. Apparently my sister and her remaining bridesmaids talked after, and my sister told them about our conversation. My cousin and my sister's best friends take my side, and though they won't be a bridesmaid until my sister apologised and lets me be in the wedding again. My sister texted me and said that I've ruined her wedding. I don't know what to do. Am I the arsehole? Edit, please stop asking about my mum. She died about 5 years ago in a car accident. The woman I was talking about picking me up was my stepmother. She's a very nice lady and I call her mum sometimes. She's been there for me since I was 10. She filled the gap left by my actual mum. Before we go into the comments, all I'm going to say is, Bridezilla alert. Jesus Christ, man. You're 14 years old and she's getting jealous over you or something. Oh, man. If I was the bridesmaid, there's no way I'd be getting back in that wedding after what she said. Even if she apologised, I wouldn't be a part of that no more, I don't think. I'd feel too weird about it. But let's go into the comments and see what's going on down there. Glass Raviri says, not the arsehole. It's also sad and disturbing that your sister thinks her 14-year-old sister's boobs are going to distract the guests. Are you for real? A throwaway account replies, the sister isn't just a bridezilla. She's hella insecure if she thinks a 14-year-old is going to steal the spotlight from her own wedding. Liberty Bell replies, not the arsehole OP. She probably shouldn't be getting married with that level of insecurity. Jonathan Willard replies, I'm disgusted by her behaviour and by the fact that she's expecting her sister to be sexualised like that. Definitely not the arsehole OP. Undercooked Rice says, she not only expects her to be sexualised, but she's already sexualising her 14-year-old sister, and it's gross. Jonathan Willard also replies again, absolutely horrendous. Honestly, it makes me sick. And then, once again, I'm going to turn this to you guys. What do you guys think of this Bridezilla? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to vote on the link in the description for Story 5. Anyway, guys, once again, thank you for being here. If you did enjoy, don't forget to hit that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. And also, you can support the channel too, because we've got members videos going on and a lot of other cool things in progress. And as I said before, thank you for being here. The time out of your day really means the world. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Much love, guys.